Hello and welcome back to another episode of Math with Sohn. Today we are going to be using synthetic division of a polynomial. So let's get into it. I've already started writing the problem. We got x to the third minus 4x squared plus 6x minus 5, and we are going to be dividing that by, let's go with x plus 2. Okay? Now, first off, in order to do synthetic division, you can only use synthetic division when you are dividing by a very basic, boring factor like x plus 2, x minus 3, x plus 5, x minus 6. Anything that's boring that you're dividing by, you can use synthetic division. You could not divide with synthetic division if it was dividing by x squared plus 2 or 3x minus 7. Anything that's crazy, you can't use synthetic division by. So that's very important. When you're doing synthetic division, you take this 2 and change the sign of it and put it on the outside of this big L thing. So this 2 became negative 2. You're essentially putting your 0 here. And then the numbers that are in front of what you're dividing would go here. So I got a 1x to the third, a negative 4x squared. We got a 6 for the x, and then a negative 5. So those numbers just drop down. If you were missing a term, if we jumped straight from x to the third to x, you would have to put in a 0. So if you're ever missing a term, you got to put in a 0 for that. You bring the first number down. Bring that first number down. Then the process begins. So we are going to multiply negative 2 times 1. Negative 2 multiplied with 1 becomes negative 2. Then we add straight down. Negative 4 and negative 2 makes negative 6. We start again. Negative 2 times negative 6. We multiply those two to get 12. Then we add straight down. 6 and 12 make 18. Multiply. Start again. Negative 2 times 18. We multiply those two. You get negative 36. You would add straight down. Negative 5 and negative 36 makes negative 41. Now, essentially, the process is done because we got nothing else to do. We do not need to do negative 2 times 41 because we're done. We finished it. What will happen, because we are doing synthetic division, is if you started with an x to the third, now this is going to be an x squared, one less because we divided. So we got a little less x's here. So this is 1x squared. Minus 6x, because we've gone from 2 to x to the first, plus 18, no x's, because we're out of x's. We got x squared, we got x, we got no x's. And then this last number is your remainder. So sometimes people do a plus, negative 41, the last number, this is your remainder, is always divided by the original, which in the original in this case is x plus 2. So we take the original without changing the sign and divide by that, the x plus 2. Okay? So that's synthetic division. I'm going to do another one just so you can get another practice problem. But that's it in a nutshell. It doesn't get any harder. So let's say we had 4x to the fourth, apparently, minus 3x squared plus 2x. I'm going to go with minus 7. And let's say we were dividing by an x minus 1. If you're dividing by x minus 1, a fraction is just a division symbol. This is a very basic factor, so we are allowed to use synthetic division. We put the 1 on the outside. We change the sign. So it was negative 1, now it's positive 1. Then we put our 4x to the fourth down. We be very, very careful because we are missing an x to the third. Because we are missing that 0x to the third, you need to put a 0 here. If you don't put the 0 there, it's not going to work out. So you need to be very careful that you don't forget missing terms. So 4, 0, and then the negative 3, and then the positive 2, and then the last one, the negative 7. Bring down the first number, 4. Multiply, 1 times 4, 4. Add, 0 plus 4, still 4. Tired of the number 4. Multiply, 1 times 4, you get 4. Add, we're not getting 4, finally. Negative 3 plus 4 is 1. multiply 1 times 1 to get 1, add 2 plus 1 to get 3, multiply 1 and 3 and you get 3 again. And then when you add straight down, negative 7 and 3 makes negative 4. So another 4, upsettingly. So we started with an x to the fourth. So this is going to drop by 1 exponent and be 4x to the third power, plus a 4x squared, plus a 1x, then plus a 3, and we've gone from 3 to 2 to 1x. Now we have a regular 3. The last number is always your remainder, and the remainder in this case will always need to be divided by the original x minus 1. So I kind of like that because then you don't have to rewrite the entire thing. Another huge thing to think about is if you were dividing. This is officially like kind of the end of the video, but something that you really kind of maybe want to know about. If you were to plug in this number and end up with a remainder of 0, what would that actually tell you? If you divide and you get a remainder of 0, what that would actually tell you, if you ever get a remainder of 0, if you ever get it, I'm writing this down sloppily, then you have a 0 or a solution. So if we divided by x minus 1 and I got a remainder of 0, then x minus 1 would be considered a factor, and the 1 would be considered a 0 of the function, which is very, very important as we move forward because we're not just dividing for fun. We're dividing to find the solutions of the polynomial, and we want to find the solution so we know how to graph it. So understanding that getting a remainder in the future will normally mean bad. You don't want remainders. You want to get that remainder of 0. You would prefer not to have a remainder of negative 4. It also tells you a very interesting fact as well, which will be another video. But if you were to plug in the number 1 for all of these x's, for this x to the fourth and that x squared and that x, you would get a negative 4. Synthetic's division tells you what you would produce when you plug a number in, which is a very helpful hint and tool that you can utilize as well. I've droned on enough. Until next time, stay positive. I will see y'all later. This is not the only polynomial division. You need to also check out the long division. Definitely check out the long division. That one's way harder. See y'all later. Bye.